Hello, good day everyone. Today I'll be sharing with you how Codex works when it comes to building your own website, which has a text prompt of your desire. So what I have here on my screen is a ChatGPT that's currently open because Codex lives here in ChatGPT. But Codex can be open in two different modes. So you see here in one of my profile Gmail account, the list account. This is the one I currently using. You can see here the codex. If I click on that one, same as what I've said in the video last time, that it will redirect you to download codex software. So I have here download for Mac OS. I already have this installed for the Mac OS version. I'm just showing this to you as demonstration purposes or for demonstration purposes. Or you can install the CLI or try the IDE extension, and you can also connect to your GitHub account. Later on, I'll be explaining to you why we need to have a GitHub account. We don't want to pay something extra for making your website live in public or accessible after it generates a website for you. So because first, what it will generate for you will be available to the local storage of your laptop, so it won't be accessible yet for public viewing until you put it on a live server. So that's why we will be needing this GitHub. Okay, let's go back to ChatGPT. And before we start, I want you to familiarize this platform, ChatGPT. So Codex was added, but it's different. When we say ChatGPT is for conversation, like it can generate recipe for you, but Codex means uh, in action, like it can cook for you. So it does the cooking. ChatGPT generates a recipe for you, and Codex does the cooking. But as a human being, as the user, you are also still responsible for the final output. You still need to taste the food. So for layman terms, think of Codex like a super smart assistant that turns your ideas into code. That's where the Codex name was generated from, the word code. So instead of writing everything from scratch or by putting the actual text and characters as you are doing your coding manually, it's a lot complicated to explain in just one video. So instead of writing the code, you only need to describe how your website will look like, the theme, the color, the tabs you want to see, and you just type it here. So when I click on Codex, it actually, again, it puts me to ChatGPT Codex Cloud server and asks me to choose on what version that I want the Codex to live. But there's also another profile account I have with ChatGPT open, wherein if I click Codex here, oh, earlier it actually works. This one, so I'll just skip this one. So it works. So it asked me to name a project because it can also generate the code for you using the same platform. But again, it needs to have access to your local storage of your device because it needs to save the files that it will generate later on. So I already got one, the one I shared in the video, but just for demonstration purposes. So since I'm using a MacBook, so this is the one I click. So if we have the same laptop, you can just click on download from macOS. I already have it stored on my device, so I'm just clicking it for you to see. So this is how big the file size is, around 300 MB, and there is an agreement that you need to click agree upon installing it so you can run it on your laptop. Okay, so I have it installed, and this is the logo of Codex, and I already generate a website with the text prompts I wanted to. So the one I shared on the screen recording and the video that I've shared earlier or in the previous days. So I already got one. I already have my own website. I'm just curious. So I need to see it live in action. So this is the text prompt I got. So I opened the Codex app. So these are the menus for the Mac OS version. I got it on top. So when you open the project, so it will ask you to type in the text prompts. What do you want it to do? So I said here I want Codex to create a website for math tutorials. That's the first thing that came to my mind. For senior high school to higher education, covering all branches of mathematics. I want to see a tab that has video tab, games, worksheets, notes, and homepage. And I want the page to be interactive for the user or the visitors, wherein they can easily find the lesson they need for whatever branches of mathematics they would love to click on. And if I want to add or link my YouTube video lesson in the future, so I want a website that has that feature too. So this was the one it generated, the same as what I've shared on the screen. Actually, I got two versions of this. I updated it already. So while you are accessing Codex here on your screen, it also gives you here the preview. So I got here what it generated for me the first time. Build an interactive math tutorial. So this was from the Codex itself. It created the README. Notice here first, we have here to run open users Melissa 35. This is the file that it generated and saved to my local storage. That's the reason why you need to download Codex software on your laptop, because it needs to have access on your device. So it's in the Python 3 server. Then it has here the link for this one is accessible via local storage or your local connection. No one can see this except you on your own laptop. So I got here the README file. So this is what it says here. There are 4 files it generated for me. The previous prompt, I got the index.html, the styles.css, app.js, and of course the README file. Okay, what this meant, the index.html styles or the CSS files for your styling of your website, and the app.js and the README, this will be saved on your local storage. So this, let me show it here. This one is the GitHub that I opened. Okay, let me open another window here. It actually saved on my documents. So I get here. This was the first generated files for me on the new project, because I prompted a couple of times. The first one is saved here, the app.js. We have the index.html, the news.json, and the README and the style CSS. If you are curious to find out what's on it, so let's click on the app.js. So this is how it looks like. So literally just a bunch of codes, lines. So if you want to memorize this, you don't need to. But if you'll be writing this manually, this is a very tedious thing to do. It will hurt your eyes. Without doing this manually, you can use Codex to do it for you. You just need to guide it properly. So it generated the name of the website for me, which is MathLift. So these are the branches of mathematics that came to my website, that it got generated, the formulas, because I added the tab for formulas and the video, and also I'll close that one so it won't confuse your brain. So what I have here at index.html, this was the new and upgraded version than the one I shared in the screen recording. I'm not happy with the color from light orange, so I prompted it to be like a turquoise blue, something relaxing for the eyes and not all pure white, because it will hurt your eyes. And I added this one, an interactive like news flash to keep the visitors engaged on my site. So this is like a simplest website that it generates, but it has everything that I need. We have here the home button, so you will be brought back to the home page, the about. Look at it here. So I added my about and what's inside. The topics, so it got all the branches of mathematics, which I verify this is what I like. Videos, I didn't add videos as my personal playlist on here, so I only prompted the Codex to access videos from trusted website I trusted the most, from Khan Academy, Ediwu, and the Organic Chemistry Tutor, which I really love the most. And we got here notes tab, so you can check on the notes after for each of the mathematics notes or particular lessons. So let's say for quadratics, we have roots, vertex, and factorization. If I click on open notes, so this is what I got. If you want to see the full lecture notes, so you can just click on expand it. Then we have worksheets. So worksheets, it can generate up until 30 items. So we got here for what grade level, because I picked senior high school and higher education, so it prompted grade 12 and higher education. We have here the topics for the branches of mathematics that I put here, the number of items that I would like my website to generate worksheets for me. So the maximum here is only until 30. Then if you want to show the answers, if you want to see the answers, if you are the visitor, so you can just click on show, or there you go. Or you can hide it to add more challenge to it. So if I want worksheets for, let's make it 10, and for the exponents and logs, just click on generate. So I got here. But the first generated website doesn't look like this. So that's what the HTML looks like. Let's go back to the folder. So we have here the news.json. This is what it looks like. These are the content. Remember the interactive element that I want to show to my visitors. Next is the styles.css. This is responsible for the styling, literally like the font, the background. So I'll explain that later. So this is what you can see from the style.css file. So we have here, I again prompted to change the color from previously it generated orange and white. Then I want it to be turquoise blue because I saw a website of Malibu, when you Malibu, the beach, and it has a turquoise color. So I want that to look like turquoise colors or something relaxing like the sea. So this is what the CSS styling looks like. This is responsible for the feature or the design of your website. Last one is the README. Okay, this is the content of your README file. This is basically a description. You will need this one. Mathlib as my website name, mathematics tutorial site template for senior high school and higher education. This is just the description. So I want, in order to view the site, you need to click on open index.html. So this is basically an instruction for the visitor, or the description, shortly saying. Okay, let's go back to the file. So basically, HTML is the structure of your website, like the skeleton of the website. It defines what appears, like the headings, the images, the buttons, and the text. So this is your backbone. It has the titles, the paragraphs, the layout sections, whereas the CSS, let's go back here. Again, this is for the design and appearance of your website. So CSS is what makes the website beautiful. Like it controls, if you can see here, the numbers, and this is the code for the color scheme or theme. So it controls the color, the spacing, the fonts, and the layout, the button styles. For the JavaScript, that's where You can find it from app.js files. JavaScript is the brain of the website. So it makes the website interactive. We don't want a website that is too dull, like a static one, with just a plain text. Just it will look boring. So you might want to use JavaScript to make it more interactive for the user and the visitor, like clicking buttons, loading data, or animation, especially if it logs. There is an animated graphics that will come up on screens if you want to have that on your website. Like you can click on the topics that you like if it's about a certain educational site like mine, or for a booking site, there must be like click events button, dynamic content, and the logics. So JavaScript is the one responsible for that. For the README, as I've said earlier, it's instruction, documentation, and how your website works. So this file explains what the project is all about, how to use it. So it's like a manual for your website. How about the JSON? News.json. JSON is storage. This is where data is stored. Instead of hard coding everything, the website reads information from here. It's set up auto updating for Math News. So remember the one that is running on the screen earlier? This one on top. I wanted to update, like I put here like a trivia section, did you know, and some cool stuff about mathematics to engage the viewers, and they might want to check this one out. This is very helpful as well. So let's go back to the codex. This is what it generates now. Are you ready to see it live in action? Okay, let's go back to the files or the codex. So we will go back to codex platform itself. We will now generate a new one. So I don't know why I got disconnected earlier, so maybe I ran out of storage on my MacBook while I was talking over here. So if we want to create a website live in action, I was saying here earlier, this is the text prompt I prompted just a couple of minutes before I got disconnected with my screen recording. So let's check it out. Okay, this is the text prompt. I wanted to have the codex generates a new website for me because it's kind of boring to keep repeating the same prompt for the same website, even though it's for demonstration purposes. But for someone who does it every time, so it actually makes me feel bored about it. So I want now the codex to generate a website that is all about technology, the tech stuff. So this was the text prompt I prompted. I type it here. I'm on Codex app. I type in here, generate a website that features latest in technology, latest gadgets, latest news about AI, latest smartphones, and I want to see a home button about technology type and reviews. And of course, I picked the colors so it won't choose randomly on its own. I want the color purple, purple shades, and blue. So it created files for me, same as what I've demonstrated earlier for the previous files that it generated for me. So I created 8 files. This was actually saved on my local storage in my MacBook. That's why it needs to be downloaded, because it needs to have access on your storage, and it can only do that if you download the software. So it worked for around 4 minutes and 38 seconds in total for the 8 files with 5 commands. You can see here my username from my profile, from my folder on my MacBook, and these are the files for HTML, the CSS, the JavaScript, and the news update for to keep the site updated. The latest news for this is a separate tab, and how to access this one via GitHub. So I have mentioned earlier that you will need to create your GitHub account if you don't have one, so you can run it with the public link. without paying anything extra to run it locally. So we can just open this file, this one till here, and it uses the Python language, Python 3 as the version under the server 5173. This one is for the port. This is the local link. Again, this is only available on your laptop and on your local connection. So if we click on the readme file, this is what it says here. So again, this is only for the description of your site. So we have here 8 files changed or updated by the system. So I was saying this earlier. I'm sorry for the lag on the connection. So I got here the GitHub files and the README, the JavaScript, the JSON file, the favicon. This one is for the profile of your website, the index.html, and the style.css. Okay, so earlier I was saying it live here. Just so happened that the site got disconnected, or the screen recording got disconnected, by the way. So let me see it here. Where is it? This one. Let me show you the folder where it's saved under my documents folder under new project, and it generated a separate file here. TechWave generated the name of the site for me. It is now the app.js for the TechWave. So this is how it looks like for the new site which is created. This is the logo of the website. I'll just keep it open, close this one. The index.html, this is where your site lives. So it opens the site on your local connection. The styling, these are the content. With the font style, font colors. I'll just close this video of the first video recording. Just got disconnected somehow. And this is where your site description lives under the README. So you will need that, especially if you are uploading files on GitHub. So pretty much everything here is complete. Now, this is now the website. I want my viewers to actually see this live with a public link. So currently it's sitting right my local storage device of my laptop, so only me can access this one. But this is how it looks. So it created a name for the site, which is TechWave. It generated a logo and the same color that we instructed it to do, in shades of purple, blue, cream. And we have here the tab that I wanted to display, the home tab that directs the viewers back to the home page. It's the default page. We have what kind of technology types, so same as what I mentioned in the example on the text prompt. So it created separate windows for, separate type of gadget like AI and tools. Let's click this open. What do we have here? If you want to search headlines or AI, there you go. You have smartphones and gadget. Let's try this one, or let's check the categories. Latest in Apple. The gadget. You want to see the reviews, the pros and cons of gadgets. I think it's not yet complete. We will do the navigation. We have the reviews. It directed me down here for the reviews. We have mid-range phones, the pros and cons, and the about. So what's the website is all about. So this is an instruction for you as the user and how to customize it, make it yours. So this is just a guide. So that's why I told you that you will need to familiarize how web development thing works, the basics of web development, since we are prompting Codex to generate a website for us. So it acts as a website builder. Okay, so how to make this live for public viewing. So I opened my GitHub account. Earlier, I asked you to create an account with GitHub since I already have one. But other than GitHub, you can actually have a public link for your website, but you will need to pay extra. You can have Netlify, but it comes with extra costs. But just for you to see, I will click on Netlify. This is Netlify. So sometimes it offers a free trial, but free trial will end. But this is pretty creative and best hosting for your website. Okay, now I have here the GitHub account open. We created a repository. Just got disconnected again. So let's go back. Under the GitHub account, when you open your GitHub account, you need to go to repositories, and you need to create new repository by clicking new. Okay, I'll just go back because I already have one. So you need to name your repository how you want it to be called, like. So I put tech website, and that's the time you can upload files that Codex generated for you. We'll just minimize this. So this is the page where you can drag and drop your files. So everything needs to be dropped here. Now it's uploading. We can now maximize this screen. So it's pretty easy. So you have here the app.js or your JavaScript, the logo for your site, the index.html that contains your site, the description, and the CSS for the styling. Then you need to click commit changes. Every time you add some changes to the file, you need to click commit changes. Now you have here the static website. You can open this on your browser, or you can just click this one. Copy this, paste it here, should be working. If it doesn't open automatically, you can just go to the folder itself or the HTML. The HTML files that contains everything. This is for the raw file, but you want to see the website itself. Let's go back. It lives on your local storage. Now we want our website to be available to public viewing, so we need to do some steps here. We need to click on settings. Under the settings, you can see your repository name, which must be the same as the one you created. This one, it needs to be still at main, but before adding anything here, you need to click on pages, and this one needs to be set deploy from a branch. So we've already got it here. This one, your branch should be main, and you don't need to touch anything here. Visibility, you can access GitHub Enterprise with a free trial for 30 days. No need to touch anything on that. Just click on save. And in just a few seconds or minutes, just keep on refreshing the page so you will see the public link. Keep on visiting that normally after a minute or two, or you can go back to the repository, back to TechWave. None yet. Back to settings, back to pages. Now just refresh it again. There you have it. So you now have the public link. So if you want to visit this, you can just click it here. This is the link you can provide to your visitor. If your site is ready for sharing, you can just give it to them, this one. So we didn't pay anything extra. But just to remind you, while doing this, while having your website hosted by GitHub, I just want to make sure that you also know or understood the pros and cons. What are the pros? It's free hosting. You don't have to pay anything extra. That's why we use it for demonstration purposes. Easy to update. You can just go back to GitHub. You can control, or you have the version control of your site, your GitHub account. Yes, one. And it's really friendly or portfolio friendly. But there are also cons. Public by default. So that means the codes that lives under this site of yours will also be publicly available for the visitor. They can copy the code. So if you're okay with that, then you can have it hosted via GitHub. And it's not beginner friendly at first, but they don't need to learn this one. Just need to provide them the site. If they are techy enough, they will be the one to explore your code. And it has limited backend features. If you're okay with the styling, and if you want the Codex to generate another development with your site, or you're not happy with what it generates, so that would depend on the text prompt. You can improve your text prompt to make it detailed, so you have to prepare for that. And another thing as well, there are important concepts in web development that I want you to know as well. Front end versus back end. When we say front end, this is what users see. This one, the front. While the back end, that's your server, database, and the logic. And as well as responsiveness, how your website responds to click from the user. So websites should work on phones, tablets, and desktops, because if the user don't have their laptop, so they cannot access the desktop version, the link should be, well, anyway, the link must be accessible even on tablet and mobile version. So no problem in that. Performance, these are the very important elements of web development if you want to make a profession of creating a website. Performance, it needs to be fast loading. That's why it needs to be optimized to give better experience for every users that will access the file or the site. Accessibility, websites should be usable by everyone. Should not have any restriction except for the copyright. Security, it's very important, but others might usually forget that part. When we say security of your website, it to protect user data and prevent attacks. So if you are gathering data, depending on your site, if your site gathers email, phone numbers under the contact option, if you have here the contact button here or contact tab, then your site needs to have a security feature where it will save those data that it get from the user. So with AI like Codex, building a website is just faster than ever. But again, understanding the very basics of web development, the coding, those terminologies is what turns you from a user into a creator. Alright, so that's all. I hope you have learned something from this video tutorial of creating a website via Codex using ChatGPT platform. Alright, so thank you and see you next time.